Hello, my beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous friends. I am your friend Kevin, and this is your Divine Daily Blast. Let's get right to the numbers, shall we? Here we go. Angel numerology number 3 day today, which I like to call reflection. Reflection because, we get to look back, particularly today, this week, because we're heading towards the end of the calendar year. Of course, the mood is all very different. People are, I think, in a reflective mood. We've reached the first quarter moon of this particular cycle, and it happens to be in Aries. So it brings us a chance to reconcile with anyone we've fallen out of favor with, or see if you can reconcile the differences that perhaps you have. I was talking yesterday about relationships and friendships that may be either A, out of balance, or B, non-reciprocal. We can also look at who we are not reciprocating with from our own perspective. We can only look at things from our own perspective. For example, if you haven't connected with anybody that you used to connect with a lot, you can choose to update that connection and decide, I need to reinvest in that relationship, or let things go by the wayside. As I've said before, and as the Spirit comes and tells all of us, we are destined to expand and grow. And that means expanding and growing with all of our relationships, aligning and balancing with the next group of principles that will be playing a lovely part in our extension on this earth, in our adventure on this earth, as we go through different chapters, different decades, different I like to think of it as a 7-year cycle. I don't know why I choose 7-year cycle, I just do. Every 7 years, there seems to have been a shift from what they were 7 years prior. We have to say farewell to people, places, situations, and stories and jobs in order to embrace something new and different. And the more we do it, the pattern exists. Is one cycle ends, a new cycle starts. So we should give humble gratitude to the universe for all the blessings that we've received in 2025 and release what never worked or what just went by the wayside. When we do any kind of planting, there is soil that wraps itself around the roots of the plant, and then there's soil that kind of sort of gets cast aside. So, number 3, gentle guidance from our guides, gentle guidance from our angels, gentle guidance from those who have ascended. They're reminding us that everything's really okay. We should get out there and have fun and be artistic, be creative. Find something that inspires you, find something that perks up your imagination, be playful about it. And it would be a good idea to sort of sit quietly and meditate. Done with that. Here's my isms. I am aligned with the power of the Creator, and that power is within me now. Easy. I expect all my good intentions to manifest perfectly. Don't dwell on those that have not manifested or didn't manifest as perfectly as you wanted them to. Just focus on what did manifest well. What went well for you. And the other part, I am worthy of all the goodness and abundance in the universe. We are all worthy. We're all worthy subjects. We're all deserving to be here equally. No one's above or below anyone else. We're all here with our own adventures. We're all here with our own experiences. We're all here with our own love and blessings. We can't be bothered if somebody else isn't. We just need to be bothered that we are. There we go. Now, message from Archangel Jeremiah. When you call upon me, I will empower you to develop your spiritual gifts so you can more easily receive heaven's message. Jeremiah and Haniel are kind of linked. They bring us the gifts. They show us the way. in the non-physical energies. My psychic gifts are strong and trustworthy. Angelic messages flow easily to me. This theme has been weaving in for quite a little while, since most of the last part of this year, to where the physical trust that we may have had in people, places, situations, stories, the news, what have you, is being fractured. So we are turning instead inward to our inner being, our higher selves, our spiritual guidance, in order to get the truth. There is a truth that lies within the depth of us, but we have to get quiet, still, peaceful, and practice accessing that truth and accessing that knowledge, so we ourselves know what we're doing. We want to go share our optimism. We want to go out there and share what we found out, what we know. And for the most part, I think that's a good thing. But slowly, gently, the languaging changes. And we begin using terms like what works for us. This is what I chose to do. This is how this turned out. Rather than using the old language, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. We speak from I. We speak from the heart of who we are. We learn the other language. You should do this, you should do that. And usually that comes with a bit of judgment. Yeah, no, not so much. Message here from Melchizedek. That's how you say it. I talked to my friend yesterday in Israel. He talked about how you say it. Melchizedek is how he says it. I like that. I like the way that comes out. I can never remember the correct way, and I'm being told it doesn't matter. I also learned yesterday that my friend said he didn't really like the term master. When we talk about divine masters that have passed into spirit, they were once teachers, philanthropists, whatever they were, philosophers, prophets in this life. When they pass in spirit, they choose to serve mankind as guides. And he said they are all simply guides. And it almost felt as if he was channeling the spirits who were encouraging him to allow us to realize that we are just as equal as they are, and their purpose in our lives is not for us to put them on pedestals. Yes, have reverence for what they did, have reverence for what they represented when they were in physical form, but now have respect and love for what they are doing for us while we're here. But we ourselves are the ones who are guiding mankind, the brotherhood and sisterhood, forward. And Melchizedek is asking us to dig into the higher learning, probably encouraging us to follow our own form of spirituality, a habit, affirmations in the morning. You know, I was sharing yesterday the book by Dr. Wayne Dyer, Wishes Fulfilled, a wonderful book, a book about manifestation and the I am principles. Everything said after the word I am is sacred. It is an order to the universe to create it. We're so used to saying, I am tired, I am exhausted, I am blah, 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 and then we continue to be those things. That's a cycle. It is a challenge and a bit of a hurdle and a little bit tough to say things like, I'm fantastic. I'm amazing. I'm wonderful. I'm absolutely magnificent. To say things like this and to let it sit within a body that is used to saying other things, that's used to being self-judgmental, that's a challenge. So from my heart to your heart, give yourself a break. And when you get to the turning point where you're saying these things and you get a bit of a giggle because it just sounds a little silly. I've shared with you when I first began to teach, when I was in my early 50s, I took on the role of becoming a power yoga teacher, which means every breath you move. And it was strenuous. It was in a hot room. And I had been practicing this style for quite a while. It's called power yoga. And I was pushing and shoving up against it, resisting it the whole time. This is where I learned over a period of years to release the resistance and go with the flow, to let go of always having to be right, to let go of always having to do things a certain way, and to be a yes for whatever came flying along. We can always change our minds, but we get taught that if we say yes to something on Monday and then I've changed my mind on Tuesday, there's a judgment that comes from other people. Well, I thought you said you were going to do this. Well, you did it. Why won't you? Everybody else seems to be overly concerned with what we've got going on in our lives until we stop that, until the boundaries come down, until we choose to either not share it with those folks we know will likely judge us and do it anyway. Because then we get to the point where folks say they're just going to do whatever they do. They're just going to do whatever they've got going on. It always works out for them. That's the point you get to. But it does take a little while and a lot of practice. Right, moving on to Archangel Haniel. Downloads of intuition. I trust my intuition and my psychic gifts. We have to let the other get out of the way. Let go of judgment. Let go of ego. Because that takes up static space. It's like trying to tune into a radio station and all you get is that hissing. Or you end up with a part of another radio station because they're trying to scramble on top of the frequency. No, create your own frequency, my friends. All right, here we go. Fairies everywhere. Come here, come there, come give us what we need. Gertrude, Beatrice, oh, they're just sitting quietly. Now, they built a lovely little campfire and they put what is that you've got? So I'm seeing like a cove. There's our card, motivation. Oh, I love this. They built like this little cove, sort of like a half shell that is creating a little roof, almost like one of those amphitheaters. And they've got a little fire going. And they said they're just cocooning themselves in their woodland hollow. Oh, that's the message. Beatrice says, cocoon yourself in your own power. Start creating the butterfly you're going to become. Because this cocoon that you're finding yourself in, where you're weighing up your options and reflecting what you're going to be doing, is about to birth you. And they're saying you better be ready for it. Okay, thank you. Here is our card. When spring approaches, the flower fairies urge you to spring into action. If there's something you've been merely thinking about doing, they say, get busy and do it. Now, typically in the winter months, and if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're in the winter months, we don't really do too much. We sort of cocoon ourselves, do what the bears and the nature does and go inward. We sort of hunker down. It's getting cold outside. The days are not quite so long. And going out in the garden and planting seems a little redundant. However, if you want to use the spring and growth as your motivator, perhaps you do go out there and put a layer of fertilizer or a layer of soft soil, or maybe you repurpose a part of your yard if you've got a garden You go out in nature and sort of cocoon yourself into what is this going to look like when it starts to grow. The flower fairies, they're also called pillywiggins. They get super excited and fly into cards and they fly into energies because they know that they've got a special task at hand when it comes to motivating us. And they come to encourage us to get on with it. When we work with these flower essences like aromatherapy, scented candles, we tune into the flower fairies. Even perfume, cologne, comes from the essential oils of plants and flowers. They have a powerful healing effect on the mind, the body, and the spirit. So bring some fresh flowers into your home. Ideally, those that are still growing on the plant rather than the ones you cut off. May be a bit difficult in the winter. However, there are some paper whites and those kind of things. There's some glorious bright red. Oh, I want to say they almost feel like amethysts. I want to say that. I don't quite know if that's the right. Amarillos, something like that. I don't quite know if I'm saying it right. But my point being, call on the flower fairies if you're feeling lack of motivation. It's the best way to get something done. Or go and ask a busy person if you can help them. There you go. All right, my friends, let's see. I hope that does it for you. I hope that you have gathered something from this reading. And I'll be back tomorrow with navigation for the week ahead, plus the Divine Daily Blast. Until then, be well. And I love you. And thanks for liking, subscribing, and doing all you do. Bye for now.